had a bit of an upgrade.
So I'm just going to run through what my feelings are, what I think about the Zwift Ride. I'm not going to go through any great detail of spec and tech and how to set it up in minute detail. There's hundreds of videos out there on that. I'm just simply going to give you my view, for me, what I feel and think about the Zwift Ride. Hello folks, my name's Mark. I've got a Duathlon channel and I am an avid Zwifter. Yes, I've been Zwifting since beginning of 2020. When COVID hit, I was using rollers and an on-wheel dumb trainer, and as we were all confined to home, I took the plunge and got a smart trainer and connected to Zwift. And then the story is I've just never gone away. I've become a big fan of Zwift, I have to admit. It's revolutionised my training and the engagement that the Zwift application gives you. It just fits my mindset, and I spend a lot of time in this garage pedalling away on Zwift. But it's not just mindless cycling that I do on Zwift. It helps me in three ways. Firstly, mentally, it's a great break, getting away from life, immersing yourself in the worlds of Zwift and thinking about what you're doing and focusing. And while you're doing that, you're not thinking about all the other stuff, the stuff that can be stressful. So it's a bit of a reset. Tick VG number one. Number two, I'm a competitive duathlete, and Zwift enables me to get really structured training. I can get measurables, I can make comparisons, things that you wouldn't be able to do riding out on the streets. Number three, I'm a long time cyclist. I do like my cycling, indoors or out, and I've kind of migrated to more than 90% of my training is indoors. So what is number three? Safety. For me, I'm getting older, I'm 61, and it just feels so dangerous out there on the roads. Wherever I go, there's potholes everywhere, there's mad motorists everywhere, and you avoid all that and you can train whenever you like safely in this environment. When I started Zwifting back in 2020, my first smart trainer was an Elite Duretto, which quickly kind of fell apart. So I returned it and I ended up getting a Tax Neo, which was kind of top of the range Tax smart trainer, and that felt great, but it had its limitations, and that also started to malfunction. Send that back, and then I went and I moved to Wahoo, and I got a Wahoo Kicker, and that's the smart trainer that I've stayed with ever since. So I wore that smart trainer out and it started creaking and groaning. I contacted Wahoo, they kindly agreed to swap it for a reconditioned one. That was probably 2 years ago, and now that Wahoo Kicker is creaking and groaning. And I guess that's what happens when you ride 60,000 kilometers like I've done since I started Zwifting. So it was time in my head to upgrade to the Zwift Ride. Now, in the preceding 5 years, I was fortunate enough to have dedicated road bikes on that Wahoo Kicker. So I had a road bike to do my sort of duathlon training for a road geometry bike, and for time trials I had my old time trial bike that I could put on my Wahoo Kicker, so I could train in the TT position while I was on the turbo. It was great. So what made me move to the Zwift Ride, which is an all-encompassing just turbo bike? Well, aside from the fact, like I said, my Wahoo Kicker was creaking and not making great noises, and I think it was on the way out, the Zwift Ride setup brings a number of different benefits that you don't get even with a dedicated bike on a separate smart trainer. Right, I will take you through a quick overview before I get into anything else. So the Zwift Ride. It comes with a Wahoo trainer, Tick VG. I've used a Kicker Core, so I like the brand, I like the way it feels. The Kicker Core 2 is what comes with the Wahoo Ride. So here we have it, the Kicker Core 2, and it's a Zwift cog, so there's no cassette, there's no derailleur, it's just a cog and the chain comes with it. You flip that to tighten and loosen the chain and take it on and off the turbo, and it's a through axle, very simple to set up. I put my own pedals on it. It does come with some flat pedals, no need for those. And that's the rear end. At the top, very simple, seat post, saddle. You get the saddle with it, and I've actually found it really comfortable, but it's a personal thing. Others may not find it very comfortable. There's loads of sort of markings on here to measure your height, and you can adjust it for multiple users within your household. And the tool here that stows away on the frame, basically it's used for every single adjustment that you have to make. The bottle cages that come with it, they're fitted already, and they're quite Gucci because they're just kind of half a bottle cage. You just chuck your bottle in, you don't need to hold it tight for a stationary bike, so that works really well. And then moving forward, you've got the bars, the controllers, the single leg, it's really sturdy, no dramas there. You get this centerpiece that comes with it, so you can put your phone on it and other gadgets. They call it like a food stash thing, but no, it's up to you what you want to put on there. Now you'll see I have some tri-bars put on. They don't come with it, I've put those on afterwards and put some nice Gucci matching bar tape on it. Now the controls that are integrated, they simulate what you get on screen, and I'll run through those quickly so you can see kind of what they're like. But just a quick sort of word on the handlebars themselves. The bar tape is really good. You know, I'm quite fussy about bar tape. It's grippy, it's soft but not too soft, ideal. And the controllers on here, the hoods, they really are ergonomically friendly. I just fit into the right position, so really happy with those as well. Right, let me move around the front. So as you can see from the bars, they've got a controller there at the bottom, buttons on the side there, and then this little paddle here that you just flick like that from side to side. Same on the other side. Now that is to steer with, and I'll show you that in a minute. I always thought steering, don't need that for Zwift, but actually I really like it. These are just simulating your gears, just like you do on a road bike, and then the buttons are your in-game options that mimic what you would do on your laptop or tablet. Right, so that's it. That's a brief description. It's just simple, and it just looks aesthetically really pleasing. Right, let's run through a few things. Right, so this is me logged in, riding, all good, and like I said, I can get in this position on the tri-bars. If you want any more information about how I did that, obviously certain bars won't fit, other bars will. Because of this centerpiece here, you're quite limited, and you may have to undo some of the bar tape and move some of the connectors around. Just as a matter of point, these controls on here are charged USB, and you can just see that coming out of there. Hopefully that's a little charge point. The wire comes down, you get these magnetic connectors that you can put on, and that's just a normal USB-C connector. So these are charged separately, but apparently the charge is meant to last over 20 hours, and that's the only thing that's plugged in on the whole of the bike. Obviously the Kicker Core is plugged in, just like any other smart trainer. Right, this is me, let's get pedaling. So normally you'd have to press your laptop, and this is what I always did traditionally when I was riding on Zwift. I need to bring the menu up, so I press all the keys, so they're transferred over to your hands here. Everything's at your fingertips. So I want to bring up my menu now because I want to join the pace partner. So on my left here I've got the arrow keys, press the top one, menu pops up, press the right one, and I've got the option, and I press A. There we go. Oh, I don't want to go with friends, I want a pace partner, so I press my right arrow. 1.1 watts per kilo, I'll do that. Press A, let's go, and we're in. So all the controls are at your fingertips, whereas previously they were on the laptop or your tablet that you had to connect with. And there I am, all done. The other all important aspect of having these controllers at your fingertips without having to take your hands off the bars is enabling your power-ups. If you're in a race, you don't really want to be taking your hands off the bars and fiddling around with the keyboard. So you just press Y and there's your power-up enabled. So it even told you, didn't it, on the power-up what button to press, and it becomes second nature. So now I've got my drafting boost, didn't have to take my hands off the bars. Other sort of examples, if I want to give ride-ons, the Zwift button there, just hold that, you give a ride-on bomb, all good. So that's a quick overview. I mean, I'm not going to go into every single button and what they do, but they are intuitive and work really, really well, and I'm really pleased with it. And like I say, the ergonomics of just getting down in an aero position like this, on the bars, on the hoods, it just feels, I don't know, really, really comfortable for me, and racy as well. And obviously the handlebars will slide backwards, forwards to a huge degree to fit most body sizes, up and down as well. I've actually got it on the lowest setting on the bars, height wise. I like quite a low kind of racy setting. Right, and that's it. So steering, let's go through some steering. I need to be in a bigger group so you can really watch that. So let's use these controls again. Bring the controls up, all ready to go. A brings up my choices, so I'll scroll down and join the 1.5 watts per kilo. Press the A button, let's go twice, and we're in with Bernie for the 1.5 watts per kilo. So you can see me pedaling away there. I'm highlighted. So I go to the hoods and I've got my paddles here. So let's steer left and watch me. And there I go, out a bit twice. And I want to come in a bit, so I just tweak the right paddle and I'm tucked in with a group. And I did a circuit race and it was really, really good fun. It's just more engaging. When you come into a bend, you can sort of hit the paddle and cut the corner a bit. Whether or not it actually changes anything in game and you actually go faster, I'm not sure. So I'll move right a bit now, maybe get a bit of a draft through that gap. It just adds to it. Right, one more thing I do need to mention is the gears. I mentioned those buttons on the side of the hoods here, and you can see on the screen I'm in gear 1 and 7. You can configure your gears to match your road bike. So I've got SRAM access on my road bike and my TT bike. If anybody out there uses SRAM with 2 rings like mine, not a one by, so I've got a small chain ring and a large chain ring. If I want to move up small to large or down large to small on the front chain ring, I need to press both of my electronic shifters together, and then it changes it electronically in SRAM access. So I've got it configured to do the same. So I press both of these gears, you'll see it go up to gear 2 because that's moving up. I'm in gear 1, which is a small ring, so I'll press now both of them together and it goes up to gear 2. Oh, that's a bit hard. So as per SRAM access, getting easier is my left gear changer. Press that and you can see it changing. And it's quite responsive and feels very much like the SRAM access on your road bike. If I want to move back down to the easy gear, press them both together again, and I'm down to the small simulated front chainring. And you can do the same if you've got a Shimano, you can get that configured, or you can go one by and just have one front chainring and then move up and down the cogs at the back just using your right shifter. So I'm really pleased with that as well. It feels great. And I am pleased with the tri bars because I do time trials, I do events on my time trial setup, and I wanted something where I could do all in one bite, and this works really well for me. The position I measured out with a tape measure, and it is pretty spot on what my position is on my Canyon time trial bike, and it feels like it as well. I think there's limitations depending on what position individuals have with these bars, and you'd have to move those controller charging adapters that are sort of wedged in bolted onto the handlebars. But looking at some other sites, they are movable. I guess I was just fortunate that I didn't have to move them. I was thinking I'd have to get some different bars, move the shifters and the controller chargers, which people have done, but it just feels so dialed in and really pleased with it. The other thing I should mention is it's so quiet. There's no muck, there's no grease, because you don't have to chain it, oil the chain. Well, it's lubed and treated accordingly, so you won't get any sort of build up of muck and gunk, which I was getting. And it was noisy as well. No matter how much I always ended up adjusting that derailleur in the gears, it always had some noise and it wasn't quite aligned. This is just one chain, single on the Zwift cog with simulated gears, so it's always aligned perfectly, which helps to be really quiet. And apparently this will last for at least 20,000 kilometers, so what's that for me? Maybe 2 or 3 years. We'll see. So there you have it, a very quick overview of the Zwift Ride, just my initial thoughts, what I feel and what I think about it. I'd recommend it to anyone. I won't go through any other specs, but if there's anybody that wants to know any specifics, put them in the comments. Let's have a chat. Always happy to chat about Zwift and the new setup on the Zwift Ride. Onwards and upwards. It'll be a good training tool. Let's see where I go. Maybe I'll do a long-term review after 6 months and let you know how I've got on. But I don't think my opinion will be changed. It's worth it. Remember, keep running, keep cycling, Zwifting, and then run again, because we're duathletes. See you in the next video.